And welcome back, everybody. Well, there's one of the posters that our guest brought with him. Jerry Kraus is our guest, the executive director at the Stanley. And that's one of the many posters that Jerry and the Stanley have in their collection. We don't know what date this goes back to, do we, Jerry?
No, I don't have an exact year on that one, Joe, but that'll be something maybe we can get our researchers to work on. We've got so many pieces of memorabilia, pictures and posters and flyers and programs from shows. It'll be a fun night taking a little walk down memory lane when we put all this together for the gala in October.
You know, one of the things, I was up at Turning Stone once, and back in this backstage area in the offices and stuff, and on this particular hallway, they've got a poster of everybody that's ever performed at Turning Stone.
Wow.
Signed poster.
Ah.
And I asked about it, and if my memory serves me correctly, they said when we get an entertainer to come in, we give them 3 posters or 4 posters, whatever it was, to sign. And one of them always goes up in the hallway. I thought, what a nice idea.
You know, one of the things that we've seen, I mean, when I first walked into the Stanley and was down in the basement walkways, they have a great collection of old posters. The problem is they glued them on the plaster walls. So without just cutting them out with the plaster and all and bringing them out, they're there for right now. Yeah. We may take photos and duplicate them or something with them, but there's a whole representation of everybody from George Carlin to the productions of Jesus Christ Superstar with Ted Neely, and there's a whole walkway of
where is that?
posters in the basement of the Stanley.
Okay, I'll have to get down there one of these
Yeah,
days.
I'll bring you down and show you.
Here's another poster that Jerry, speaking of
B.B.
posters.
King. Now, B.B. King's played at the Stanley, I think it's 3 or 4 times. This particular one was for his 80th birthday bash. And I could talk about blues. We're just talking about blues rock. There is a true legend, B.B. King.
And on the back side of that, there's another legend, huh?
Kenny G came in last year. We did our big concert with Valley Health Services, fundraiser for both of our organizations, and he put on a fabulous show, fantastic show.
Yeah. The Stanley is the acoustic. Somebody told me, you tell me if this is accurate or not, somebody told me once that the best spot to sit in the Stanley acoustically was in the first or second row of the loge.
That's a preferred seating area for many people. They love those seats. Matter of fact, if you want to hold this one up, I'm going to tell you a little story. Yeah. When Tony Bennett came into the theater, and I think that was 2011, Tony Bennett was also in for the fundraiser that we do in the fall with Valley Health Services and the Stanley as co-promoters. Tony Bennett, he knows about classic theaters. You know, he's a legend. He's been in theaters around the world. And he looked around and he was amazed at just the beauty of the Stanley Theater. And he mentioned to the crowd that those old theaters were set up for acoustics. And he said, I'll prove it to you. And he sang a song without the microphone. And then he asked later, can you hear me in the back? Could you hear that song over there? How about over there in the corner? Everybody said yes, they heard him. And it's true. I've actually been in that theater and there's people on stage just talking and you can hear them all through the theater. It's just set up for acoustics.
And we're talking about, what, 2,900 in some odd seats?
2,963, including the 60 chairs in the pit if we lower the pit and put 60 fold-up chairs in there. Yeah, and it's 1,800 seats on the floor level, about 1,200 seats up in the balcony level, including the loge.
What kind of condition are those seats in?
Seats are in pretty good shape. They actually did the seat repairs and the exchanges back in the 80s. So while they're not big plush chairs with the cup holder and the new amenities that the new theaters are putting in some of these nice big Barca Lounge type chairs, they're in pretty good shape. We're in pretty good shape. Our issue is when we do have a problem with them, there's not a lot of people making those parts anymore. So we have to either take some chairs out of service, put some new ones in, and use the older ones for parts. Yeah.
What is in good shape, and it wasn't always the case until you did your capital improvement program down there, was those dressing rooms. Those were an embarrassment, weren't they?
I remember from my radio days, we have to go down the winding circular staircase to go find some of the artists that were coming in because I would help them do the introductions and things. And yeah, they were in very rough shape. And now we have state of the art. From 10 years ago, the renovation, beautiful dressing rooms right off the stage. We have the loading ramp right off the stage. The stage has been widened and improved tremendously since 10 years ago. And now it is a place that can take just about any act that can bring in truckloads of equipment. We can handle it.
You know, I saw, I forget who it was, but there was, what do you call it, loading in?
Yeah.
Loading in. There was some tractor trailer trucks, they just backed up to those doors and
Yeah.
loaded in. Versus, I remember when I was a kid, I used to go over on King Street,
Yep.
and I'd watch them, those stagehands bringing in equipment. Wow, what a job that was. Pulleys
With ropes
and
and pulleys and just hoisting big speakers and equipment in through all kinds of weather, the hottest days, the coldest days, and it was quite a chore. We have a fantastic group of union stagehands, the ITEA union. A lot of them were around when we had the old ways, and now we have the new ways. That ramp is actually, we have it treated with glycol piping so it never freezes, which is great because it's at a bit of an incline. But we have those trucks in and out for these big shows, and it's really quite different now. They can roll it right onto the stage and then roll them right back into the trucks as they get ready to leave.
And that, of course, helps us attract some shows, yes?
Yeah, but when the Broadway rehearsals come into town, sometimes we get some primo shows that may not come in here on a regular tour, because most of the shows that come in for the Broadway engagements here in Utica would be 2 days. But now, when they come in to do a rehearsal here, like you go back a few years ago when we had the Jersey Boys here, you know, normally they go into a place and they do an extended run. They wouldn't come in and do normally just 2 days. They did 4 days here after about 10 days of rehearsal. So that was how we got that type of a show to come in. And now with the other rehearsals coming in, Hello Dolly will be here for a few weeks in September. The theater will be unavailable for any other activities. It's being rented by Broadway Utica to do their rehearsal, and then there'll be a couple of performances for the people to come out and see it before it hits the road.
And Hello Dolly is going to be when?
It's in September, and then there's also going to be Spam-A-Lot in October for a rehearsal show. So we have 2 rehearsal shows back to back.
You mentioned Jersey Boys. I was there for Jersey Boys. In fact, I was there twice.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much.
It was great.
Was that the best attendance show you've had down there, or have there been others?
Well, I think there's probably, it was towards the top of the list, but there was 4 of them back to back to back to back. Some of the bigger shows also attract huge crowds for 2 nights. As far as money, it depends on what the ticket pricing was, how they do the calculation, and we've had just some tremendous history of Broadway shows, as well as the other concerts and other events that have come into that theater. And that's why when we get to this gala in October, we're going to have a lot of displays out, a Night of Stars.
Yeah, and would you have anybody, Jerry, that's going to be there that has performed there as well?
At the gala?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the local performers, the folks from Classified, they've been on stage before for various events. We're just looking for everybody to come on down and celebrate a history. I think when we talk to people and we say, you know, what's your favorite memory of the Stanley Theater? It depends. You know, some people would like a concert, some people would say the Broadway show, some people would say an event, a gala event was a fantastic time for them. And we've done wedding photos and wedding ceremonies in there that a lot of people, I'm sure, would put at the top of their list for Stanley memories.
Good
so
point.
there's a lot of different connections with people into the Stanley Theater when it comes to memories over these past 90 years. And we want people to feel free to you know, get dressed up and come on out and enjoy the gala with us. It's for everybody.
Talking about memories, Jerry Kraus still does his radio show, The Doctor.
Yes.
We can ask him how he got that nickname in just a second. Short break,
Okay.
right back.